today we got this interesting, unique game that my friend Spence Lamb found at the Goodwill. How much did you find it at the Goodwill for?
$2.
$2! It's called WADJET or Widget. It might be pronounced Widget, we're not sure. So, you gonna unbox it for us? Well, first let's look at the back of the box. So let's flip it over. It's for up to 4 players, ages 10 to adult. Let's see what it says. It's the year 1923. You are one of 4 world-famous rival archaeologists who have come to Cairo's Egypt to begin a race against time, nature, and each other is in a search for the stolen treasures of the pharaohs. Enter the Valley of the Kings, a world of burning desert heat and blinding sandstorms. Danger lies in your every step as you dig your way through the dark, damp corridors of the ancient tombs. But beware, the Cobra goddess WADJET has guarded the Pharaoh's tombs for over 3,000 years. After 3,000 years, I'm free. She awaits your intrusion. You will be faced with danger, intrigue, and possible financial ruin. So you could go bankrupt in this game. You must use your wits. You gotta use your wits. Like this smart guy and me, we use our wits.
Yeah, we'll solve my games.
Knowledge, money, and memory to outsmart your rivals. And WADJET. Search for the royal tombs of the pharaohs. Learn their secrets, but don't let anyone learn yours. And then it says down here, experience the thrill and danger of the true archaeological expedition. Not some phony archaeological edition like Indiana Jones, but a real one. Uncover ancient Egyptian treasures buried for thousands of years beneath the sands. Learn the meanings of the symbols, myths, and magic of the ancient Egyptians as you embark upon the expedition of a lifetime. So, it has all this stuff in it. But y'all don't want to read what it has, y'all want to see what it has. So let's open it up.
Yes, let's open the box.
It's a big box. This is the board. Now I have some games that have some pretty big boards like Napoleon in Europe and the Civil War game, American Civil War game. And they are actually bigger than this one, but not many times do you find a game with such a huge board. So we got artifact cards, I believe, go on these little spaces. And we got different chambers. There's one. There's another one. There's another one. So they did a pretty good job on this board with, you know, the Egyptian theme. And here's the rules. So we got the object of the expedition, which is basically collect 40 grand worth of artifacts, treasures. Set up for 4 players.
Come on, take a rope. Come on, take a rope.
And there's more on the back, right? Okay, more on the back. Because you got the treasure cards.
Go.
The different symbols, the different cards. You got Anika, Set, Scarab, Eye of Horus, Base Camp, Trouble Spaces, Sandstorm, Nile River, Deep Crevice, and How to Win. And those are the rules for 2 players. So And then what's this other card? The glossary of the map. Does it have a map in this one? Or is this the map? The board? Oh, this tells you what each thing is. The Abu symbol, Abydos, Alexandria, Armenia, Aswan, Cairo, Dashur, Eastern Desert. These are places in Egypt. Ediffa, Fayum Oasis, Gaza, Gulf of Suez, Kanak, Lower Egypt, Luxor, Mediterranean Sea, Medium, Memphis. Fun fact, that's where we live. But in America,
Memphis
not in
means place of good abode.
Libya, Red Sea, Rosetta, Sequoia. Sorry for the people talking in the background. Sinai, Tennis. Some of these places in the Bible, like Sinai. Upper Egypt, Valley of the Kings, Western Desert, Amulet, Carthage, Cartouche, Cataract, Carrots, Coffins, Cosmetics, False Door, Granite, Hercules, Limestone, Mummy, Necrobet, Nemes, Pharaoh, Curies, Sarcophagus, Scribe, Sphinx, Temple, Tomb, Tekahumunin. And is there more? Yeah, there are more. This shows you all the treasures. Like we got a wishing cup, rolls of linen, wooden hoe, as opposed to the new hoes are made with metal. Back in the day, they'd use wooden hoes. Cow strip box, reed baskets, crook and flail, storage boxes, copper trumpet, painted box, traveler's box, cosmetic cases, bag of bones, golden mask, gold rings, gilded box, imagine to speak over somebody, child's chair, portable chest, board collar, calcate. Sorry, I can't pronounce some of these words. King's tummy, golden sistra, gold buckle, Shabati, faience jars, ebony stool, and then you have the colors are white, red, blue, green, yellow, black, and signs. We have alabaster, the Anuki, Anubis, Ive Horus, He, Horus, Isis, and Nefertas, lion, lotus, pyramid, rings of affinity, scarab, Seph, solar bark, solar disc, steps, and WADJET, the snake creature, and water. So those are all the different spaces on the board. And here's the story. Who wants to hear a story? Let's read the story. It's pretty hard to read. How about you film me reading the story? Am I in there? Hi guys. The story. We're going to tell you a story. Howard Carter was born on May 9th, 1874 in London, England. Carter had inherited his father's artistic skills and his talent was soon recognized. At age 17, he was hired to do tracings and ink drawings of scenes from tombs in Egypt. By the next year, he was hired as a craftsman for the Egypt's a draftsman. Fun. Egypt exploration. Carter developed a great enthusiasm for archaeology and at 26 was appointed Inspector General of Monuments of Upper Egypt. He evacuated for the government for a number of years, but he resigned from the post in 1905 after a dispute and worked for a short time dealing in antiquities and selling some of the watercolor paintings. It was during this time that Carter met the man who would forever affect his destiny, George Edward Stanhope Monax Herbert. That's a long name. Was the 5th Earl of Carnarvon. He was born in England in 1866 when Lord Carnarvon was about 35 years old. he had a near-fatal automobile accident which left him frail health. The dampness of the English in the winter. They had to write this thing in weird.
10:30.
Hard to read sometimes when they don't spell the words like I spell the words. Led him to Egypt, where the hot, dry climate seemed to suit his health better. In Cairo, Lord Caravan found himself drawn to the mysterious world of Egyptology. As a way to pass the time, his first attempts at excavating, not evacuating, excavating sites were not terribly successful, but the search for hidden treasure and excitement of the dig eventually became a passion for him. He realized, however, that he needed professional help if he was ever going to turn this new hobby into a more rewarding venture. Luckily for him, he was a lord from England, so he had money. He needed to convince the Egyptian Antiquities Service that he was indeed a serious Egyptologist in order to have the chance to acquire one of the better concessions. The concession was a highly coveted permit to dig in a specific area, and only one archaeologist or one organization could hold that particular concession at a time. This was when Lord Caravan was introduced to the more experienced archaeologist Howard Carter. Carnarvon hired Carter to lead his further expeditions into Egypt. Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon apparently wanted to have the concessions for Valley of the Kings, but it had long been held by the ancient archaeologist Theodore Davis. Davis finally gave up the concession just before he died in 1915. Carter and Carnarvon immediately secured the rights to dig in the valley. Their work was delayed for almost 2 years, however, due to the outbreak of World War I. In 1917, they resumed their exploration. With renewed vigor, the Valley of the Kings had been explored extensively over the past 100 years, and most archaeologists were of the opinion that there were not much left to discover. Howard Carter. Oh, there's an outline of the map on the back here, too. Let's see, what was it? Howard Carter did not agree. He believed that there was still much to uncover, with one particular tomb always at the center of the search. He was certain that the tomb of the boy king Tutankhamun. I don't speak Egyptian, so if I get words wrong,
That's close enough for Egyptian government work.
yeah, it's not my fault. Was still to be found. As the years passed, with little to show for all their efforts and all the expense, Lord Carnarvon, at 56-year-old, was ready to call an end to their expedition, but persuaded by Carter's passion to find a tomb, he agreed to finance just one more. Give me one more season. Just give me one more expedition. I'll find it, guaranteed. And guess what? I think he did. On the morning of November 4th, 1922, not far from the entrance to the tomb of Ramses VI, which is 6. I don't know why we're using Roman numerals on the Egyptian kings. They're Egyptian. We should be using Egyptian numerals, don't you think? Egyptian numerals? If you think so, comment down below what you think. You think we should use Roman numerals on other nations' kings and pharaohs and stuff, or that nation's type of numerals? Comment what you think down below. Where Carter had stopped digging in his first season, workers uncovered a step. Within a day, an entry staircase had been uncovered. A door at the bottom of the staircase was steeped with the seals of the ancient necropolis. Fun fact: necropolis is a place of the dead. Necro means dead. Fun fact. So it was the tombs. The tombs in the pyramid is a necropolis. There. In case you don't know what one is. Carter did not know exactly what he had found, but he was convinced that it was indeed a tomb with the seals were still intact. This meant that it was an undisturbed site, or at least it had been undisturbed for many centuries. Though he was ecstatic at his discovery, he did the workers refill the staircase and posted guards all around. He then wired a telegram to Lord Caravan in London. Carter congratulated him on the discovery and asked him to come to the valley as quickly as possible to join in the opening of the tomb. It was a little over 2 weeks later when Lord Caravan and his daughter, Lady Evelyn, arrived in Luxor. The next day, the three watched as the workers again removed the debris from the staircase. This time, at the very bottom of the door, Carter found what he had long hoped for, the cartouche of Tukhama. It was obviously to Carter that the tomb had been broken into twice before and then resealed, which was a good sign. It meant that something's worth guarding still probably lay beneath the plastered door. Behind the door was a rubble-filled passage which took 2 more days to clear. At the end of the passage was a second door, which had also sealed. While Lord Caravan and Lady Evelyn looked on, Carter made a small hole in the right-hand corner of the door. He lit a candle and peered into the darkness. For a long moment there was silence. Carter was speechless. What he saw before him was mummies! No, I'm just kidding. Zombies! No. It wasn't that either. It was never seen by another human being for over 3,000 years. The giant of gold, the glunt of gold was everywhere. There were golden beds depicting strange creatures, vases and jars and beautiful chests, golden chariots and chairs. The room was filled with wondrous sights. It was almost too much belief. In the moment, Howard Carter knew that this was indeed the discovery of a lifetime. As others looked in turn through the small hole, they also felt disbelief. Never before in the history of Egyptian archaeology had they been such a found. They were also well aware that they had broken into a sacred place, a place that was to have remained undisturbed for all eternity. From that incredible day forward, the name of Tukhama was spoken around the world. Literally had been known as the Boy King who had become Pharaoh when he was only 9 years old and died rather mysteriously at 17 or 18. Even with the great discovery, the mystery still remained, but the inscription on one of the treasures that Carter called the King's Wishing Cup had wished the king 100,000 times infinity was proven to be true. The king's name was living once more. Egypt became the destination for new people, archaeologists, Egyptologists, socialites, scientists, diplomats, kings, queens, etc. All those fancy rich people, because they wanted to see all this gold that was just found. People from all over the world flocked to Cairo and Luxor to catch a glimpse of even just one of the treasures from the tomb. Almost overnight, Cairo and Luxor turned from quiet places by the banks of the Nile into bustling cities. The cities were filled with the excitement of high adventure as overcrowded hotels and shops entered to the new treasure seekers. Many were Americans who brought the sounds of ragtime to the hotel's grand ballrooms. The usual peaceful desert nights awakened to the roaring Troilies as the long-last door to the past was opened to the 20th century. Howard Carter was overwhelmed with his discovery, and with all the responsibility and attention that came with it, he knew his responsibilities to record, preserve, and protect these treasures was an enormous task. Of course, he could not know at the time that it would consume the rest of his life. He did know, however, that he could not tackle the project alone. He enlisted the help of men from around the world who were experts in their field. He put together a team of archaeologists, Egyptologists, craftsmen, and the photographer Harry Burton, who was on loan from the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Together they worked long hours in the hot, dark chambers of nearby tombs where they had set up areas for the clearing, preserving, wrapping, and packing of hundreds of priceless antiquities. And then tragedy struck. In March of 1923, yeah, it's a long story, guys, sorry. This video might be a while, it'll take a while because it's a long story. You can always skip past the story. In March of 1920, Lord Caravan received a mosquito bite on the side of his face, which he then accidentally cut while shaving. This became infected and led to blood poisoning. Lord Caravan died on April 5th, 1923. He was 57 years old. His death came 5 months after the discovery of the tomb and just 6 weeks after opening the king's burial chamber. The legend of Pharaoh's curse was born, and a series of events took place which seemed to make the legend a reality. It has been reported that on the very day of the opening of the tomb, a yellow canary, which belonged to Howard Carter, was swallowed by a cobra. It was reported that at the exact moment that Lord Caravan died, his dog howled uncontrollably and dropped over dead. It was also said that at the very moment of the lights went out in Cairo, stories of the legendary curse were filled every time anyone died who had ever been near the tomb, let alone if someone should happen to have an ancient artifact from Egypt. Any death, however remote, was attributed to the Pharaoh's curse. Carter was devastated by his friend and patron's death, but knew he still had an enormous job ahead of him. He set to work with his team, working around the clock. They finished restoring, packing, and crating almost 500 items from the Antech chamber, which was the only chamber they had been able to clear before they had closed the tomb for the season. The summer heat was already unbearable, and they would have to wait until cooler weather in October to continue. Their priceless treasures were stored enough to help them make the long journey which lay ahead. They were wrapped in yards and yards of cotton and calico, then packed in separate boxes which were placed in large crates. The crates were then loaded onto flatboard cars. The ancient treasures were about to begin to return their journey on the same path by which they had entered the Valley of the Kings over 3,000 years ago. The treasures had to be taken to the banks of the Nile, while barges were waiting to transport the precious cargoes 400 miles down the river to the safety of the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. The distance from the tomb in the Valley of the Kings to the river was only a little over 5 miles. But this entire process is extremely difficult for a number of reasons. First was May 15th, the heat of the summer was already well over 100 degrees. Second, Carter had to move the crates by rail, but he only had a little over 30 yards of track. This meant that the track had to be laid down in front of the flatbeds. The crate moved a short distance, and then so they had to move the track back and forth to move it. They had to keep moving the track in front of the thing. Wow. That's hard work. Anyway, they only had this. The track was picked up and laid down in front of the crates again. Thirdly, security was always a great concern. The robbing of treasures from the tombs of the pharaohs was an old occupation. Carter's plan was to be able to make the trip to the Nile as quickly as possible, because even though the caravan was heavily guarded, there was still great danger in stopping overnight. But unfortunately, the trip took far too long. Hard days with the heat in the valley, climbing every day. Carter had no choice but to set up camp each night. He posted guards everywhere, and this is where the game begins. By the third night, even the most dedicated guards could no longer stay awake at the post. Sometime around midnight on that third night, as everyone in camp lay in a heavy sleep, 6 dark figures, 6, that's one more, 5, 6, emerged from the shadows of the rocks and silently stole toward the ancient cargo. In the morning light, they discovered that one crate had been broken into was devastated. A total of 25 treasures had been stolen. Our camp was in chaos. The rest of the crates continued their journey and were loaded onto the barges. 7 days later, the remaining treasure was safely to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. As soon as the Egyptian Antiquities Service made an account of the missing treasures, they set about creating a plan for their recovery. It had been long known that the 4 most competent archaeologists in the world were Sir Lawrence Mogford Repington from England, Madame Lucille Claire Bonnat from France, Colonel Jonathan D. Garrett from America, and Lady Josephine Carrington Lehman from America and England. It was decided that a great prize might be offered to entice these 4 world-famous rival archaeologists to come to Egypt in the heat of the summer to search for the stolen treasures of the Pharaoh. The prize was to be the concession for the Valley of the Kings for the next 10 years. The rules of the competition were very clear. The first archaeologist to return to Cairo, having located all 25 treasures and having at least $40,000 worth of treasures in their possessions, would capture the prize. Telegrams were immediately sent that 4 archaeologists had been together on numerous adventures through the years. They knew all too well how difficult an expedition in the valley would be at the time of year, not to mention how dangerous the challenge of the competition against the rivals would be. But the concession of Valley of the Kings was too great for a prize for any archaeologist to refuse. All 4 accepted the invitation and headed to Cairo to begin the expedition of lifetime. To this point, the story is based on actual events which took place in the Valley of the Kings, 1922 to 1923. The rest of the story was created solely for the purpose of the game. So, basically, what you do in the game is you play as those 4 characters that we just mentioned. So we have expedition records for each each character. This one's Sir. They open and they have the map. The map. Each one's exactly the same, so there's no point in me showing. Well, on the back they do have, which I'm not going to read y'all, but I'm going to hold it up for a minute and let y'all see it. But it's got a little information about each character. That was Sir Livingston Moglord, or Miglord. This is Lady Josephine Cranston. I wonder if she's related to Billy Cranston. You know, the Blue Ranger? The original Blue Ranger? Then we have Madame Lucille Claire. And here's her information. And then we have Colonel Jonathan O. Garrett. So, look at him for the minute. Then each person gets a checklist of the 25 treasures he can find, their value, when he finds them. Check site 1, 2, 3, and 4, what you found, and for each Sir Lawrence, Madame Lucille, Colonel Garrett, and Lady Josephine, so you can keep up with what your rivals are doing. And each person has their own little poem. But they don't tell us which ones are which, but I guess we could use the back of these. This one looks like Colonel. This one looks like Colonel Garrett to me. But no, wait. This one is Sir Lawrence Migford. Sir Lawrence Migford. These are nice. They're thick. They're strong. They're nice. This is the Colonel. The Colonel Jonathan O. Garrett. And this is this one. She's wearing a bonnet. This is Madame Lucille Claire. So these are very articulate. These are very detailed for figures. I have another game that's got some figures like this. I think it's called Power Barons, but they're not exactly as good as these, but they're kind of detailed like these. I have another game too. Then we have all kinds of different types of cards. Each card has these different symbols for the different groups where you can find different artifacts. And we got these cool dice. They're wood, which are nice. We got money. See, they're wood, and they even got the eye on it on one side. So something happens when you do the eye. It probably tells you in the rules. They're kind of cool. And of course, lots of decks of cards. So these are for the sites. I guess each site has a set. So you got 4 sites, so each site has a set. And you have these cards for when you land on the certain spaces, you pick up the cards. And I think you like Clue, you put the mysteries in those, which are these sides. So the artifacts, different artifacts go in there, and this is like the main artifact. So this is like a Clue thing, sort of. So that's kind of cool. And then of course you got money, $10 bills, $5. Why do we have 2 sets of $5 bills? Okay, one's $10,000, $5,000. We have 2 sets of $5,000. That's weird. Blue and red $5,000 and $1,000. I wonder if that's a mistake. If they meant to make one of 20,000 or something. But pretty much that's all of the game. And this was a pretty long video. So yeah, there's nothing hiding under there except a rubber band that goes with this one. So I mean, I would show y'all the what each card looks like, but this video's already gone pretty long, and I got other things that I got to do today. But so I won't be doing that today. I might do it in another video. I might make a part 2 one day, which will probably be reading the. If I make a part 2, it'll be reading you the dossier of each character and showing you the cards, because that will work. I mean, so I collect games, and my friend Spence Lim also likes board games, and he found this one, which
For a reasonable price.
for a really reasonable price, and it looks like it would be one of those
$100 game.
Yeah.
$100 games at least.
$100 games. So, how do you like your game?
Haven't played it yet, but I'm.
Yeah, we
looking
still
forward
haven't
to it.
played it yet. We've been too busy doing other stuff to play it. So, like, comment, subscribe if you like board games. This is Jeff's Board Game Reviews. If you have a rare game that if you have a game that you would like to see me review, I might have it, because I have like, I think 600 or 700 games now in my collection. If you have a game that you think no one's ever heard of it, comment it down below. If you'd like me to review something, comment down the game below that you'd like to see. If you have something that you think I don't have, comment down below, and I'll probably tell you I have it, but
That's a rare one of a kind like this one.
yeah, like this. I do not have this one. If you have something that I don't have, comment down below. If you think I don't have it, comment it anyway. And if remember that God is good. God is the real God, Yahweh. Jesus Christ is Lord, the real Lord, and He loves you. And the Egyptian gods are just myths and fables, or they're demonic beings, one or the other, or fallen angels or something. Everybody have a great day. I'm going to sign off now, unless Spence wants to say something else.
God bless. Take care. Have a good and godly day.
Amen.